What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Oakley here. We got Ty Bartell, still looking like he's kind of in prison, but trying to break out, one of those deals. Anthony Hartwig in the man cave, and of course, Matt Seidel joins us once again. At this point, Matt, we talked about it text message-wise. You're not just a guest of the show; you are part of the show, my friend. So, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thrilled to be a part of it.
Yeah, okay. We know that you're getting paid under the table just to be here and to give your analysis of everything going on. So let's get right down to it, boys. Let's get right down to it. Here we go. National Get Over It Day. All right. So your choices were National Barbie Day, which Quinn's not here, so we can't talk about Barbies. National Crab Meat Day, National Get Over It Day, and National Meatball Day. And being a former meatball myself, we were going to steer clear completely of that one. So it is National Get Over It Day. So the question to you, gentlemen, is what's one thing that you've never been able to get over but are going to push yourself here today on Get Over It Day? Let's start with Ty. Ty, what do you got?
Never been able to get over the Indians' 2016 loss in the World Series, and I don't think it's going to get any better today. So, but we'll try a little bit harder today.
I just want you to get over that lower third. Like you're,
yeah.
There you go. So the 2016 loss, that's the dagger for you?
The hardest, definitely, sports moment I've ever had to witness as a sports fan. The biggest heartbreaker for me that I've witnessed. So.
Okay, I mean, I guess I can get behind that. That was a really good Cubs team, though.
That was, but I mean, it was after coming down 3-1 with the Cavs and it immediately happening to the Indians. What a Cleveland thing to do. That's such a Cleveland thing to do.
Anthony, how about you? What's your thing you have to get over on National Get Over It Day?
I think a lot of people probably expect me to say Super Bowl 55, but it's a lot easier to get over a blowout than it is to get over the close games that you feel like you should have won. So I still refuse to watch the Chiefs wildcard game against Indianapolis where they came back from like 38-3 in the second half, and Andrew Luck picked up his own fumble and jumped in the end zone, and everything just went so wrong for the Chiefs in that game. It's one of the ones that really just it hurt. It hurt so bad. So I think that's the one game in my sports fan history that really sticks in me.
All right, Coach. Up to you. What's your National Get Over It?
So I've got a ton from coaching, but I think I'm going to go with the obvious. As a diehard Cleveland sports fan, I'm still not over the way LeBron left. I'm over the fact that he left, but I can't get over the way that he left the first time. It was atrocious.
I was about to say which time.
Yeah, that's. I kind of take a little bit more offense to the second time, even though he didn't do it. He did what he set out to do, won a championship, but then he kind of was like, "Yeah, I got it done for you. Now I'm calm. Like I'm gonna go do my thing." And I felt like Cleveland kind of gave him a pass on that because he won one championship.
For me, it was just the way that he did it the first time. That whole press conference and everything that went along with it. Letting people build their hope up and then just kind of pulling the rug out from underneath it.
How about this? Amo saying Joe Hayden going to the Steelers. That's his big craw. They hated him in Cleveland. They hated him. They still hate him in Cleveland. All Steelers fans still have to hear about how bad Joe Hayden is. You know the problem? He's not that bad. Not that bad at all. Jesse James still caught it. Can't get it. Ooh, I forgot about that one. I forgot about that one. See, I was about to go with the Cubs beating the Pirates. It seems to be a theme here. But when, who was that juiced up idiot pitcher? Jake
Arrieta,
yes. Coming out on Twitter and blasting Pirates fans and da-da-da-da-da. Man, I was amped up. I was ready to fight that you-know-what. That day, I think I actually had some choice words for Arrieta on Twitter and responded to it. But the dude comes out and he's a buzzsaw. It was like they took the bats of the Pirates in the back and just completely cut him in pieces. That's about as close as they got to Arrieta all night. On top of that, Madison Bumgarner, the year before, or the year, I forget, year before, year after, Either way, the Pirates, the one year they finally do get past, they get smoked by the Cardinals in the divisional series, and then the next two wild cards they get beat by the top pitcher in the MLB.
That was so unfortunate for the Pirates too, because for those 3 years, if the Cardinals weren't in the division, they were one of the best teams in baseball. They won like 97 games one year and didn't win the division because I think the Cardinals won like 102.
Congratulations, Pirates! You played the greatest wild card game in the history of baseball. You get the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, they talk about those windows of opportunity for the Pirates. I felt like we got our hands through the window and somebody just took that sucker and just went wham, 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 just right on our fingers, just snapping them. So that's what I can't get over. I can't how bad the Pirates stink now, and looking back and thinking, man, that was our chance. That was our one freaking shot to do anything. I tell you guys all the time, like the Browns, the Cavs, the Indians. Who would you want to have that? For me, I've seen the Steelers win it. I've seen the Penguins win it. I need to see a Pirates championship, and I just got this crazy feeling it's never going to happen. So maybe I'll pass that on to the girls. Maybe they'll be able to see it. I'll never get over the Rockford Peaches loss. When you can rewrite the script, Carrie, it's kind of like professional wrestling. It's not real, so you can rewrite the script and you can figure that out.
I've got a question for Ty.
Okay.
Was the 2016 loss harder, or was Jose Mesa harder?
Oh, for me, I mean, I never had a chance. I never myself personally witnessed. I wasn't old enough at the time. I wasn't even born, I think. No, I wasn't even born
97?
in the 97. You're talking 97 World Series. Yeah.
When were you born?
I was born in 99.
Oh, my God.
Two years later. Yeah, 97 World Series, though. That one, I can imagine, though, because, I mean, I've obviously watched the game. I've seen the clip countless times. From what my dad tells me, those ones are pretty tied for him in his mind. And he talked to me all throughout my childhood about how much that 97 World Series hurt. That was probably the most painful one for him. And
that's when I was an Indians fan at that point. Albert Bell was my guy, and it was a freaking ground ball.
Yeah.
Tony Fernandez. All he had to do was field the freaking baseball. And that would have been the second out, I think, if I'm tracing correctly.
I think you're right.
Like, Tony Fernandez is one of the greatest fielders of all time. Defensive replacement for his entire, and he can't field a ground ball. But again, everybody blames Mesa, but Fernandez to me was the reason that they lost the World Series.
Yeah.
Mesa didn't help, but Fernandez stunk. What else we got here? Amo says Jose Mesa isn't allowed in Cleveland. Joe Table is not allowed in Cleveland. But nobody would know. Like, today's Indians fans they wouldn't know if Jose Mesa showed up in the Cleveland's clubhouse.
Some of us would.
Is he still alive, by the way?
I couldn't tell you that.
Somebody do a Wikipedia search on Jose Mesa and see what comes up, because I think he might have joined the other side, but I could be wrong. He had some issues. He had some anger issues, and I don't know if there were. I don't want to say there was drug issues because I don't know that, and I don't want to put that in the universe for him. But I guess I just did.
Says he's still alive. He's 54. Yeah, it doesn't say he died.
He's only about 6 years away from his career ERA against the Marlins. Mom says he's 64.
Probably living down there in Florida.
Wait a minute. Wait. He's 64 or 54?
It says 54 for me.
I was going to say 64. That would have put him in 97 at like a 47-year-old.
He's pretty damn old. That's why they didn't live.
I wonder why they didn't get it. Yeah, he didn't take his cup of Ensure before he went out to the mound. So, Jose Mesa. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. All right. Some stuff to talk about to kind of click the banners here. The biggest news and at the forefront, Scrappers joining the YSN family. Guys, I got to tell you that this is such a dream come true. I put it on my Facebook page about, dreams do come true. This is real. I mean, take you back to 1999. My parents were, the ones that went out and got the first ever Scrapper shirt that I had before the team even played a game, a Scrappers hat. I was excited. I was Baseball USA at our old house. It's still in East Palestine, but it was a house we grew up in, a double wide trailer. That's what it was. And here we are, fast forward to 2021, 22 years later, and the Scrappers are going to join the YSN family. We're 2 years removed from doing T-ball games in Struthers, and now in Niles we'll be doing semi-pro baseball. Scrappers mean a whole lot to me for a whole bunch of different reasons, but I'll say this is I was so honored for Jordan and for Heather to say that we were the ones that were awarded the Scrappers contract, not only for this year but for next year as well, because of what they saw us do at YSN. Stuff like this, stuff like Running Point, obviously our broadcast of the games, the way we present ourselves, and the way we have a positive attitude moving forward about everything we do. It was an absolute awesome opportunity that I think people are going to love, because we're going to bring everyone closer to the Scrappers than ever before, and I think that's imperative because with COVID, it's divided everybody. Everybody's 6 feet away from everybody, and it's imperative, and it's one of our missions to bring everybody closer to the players than ever before. So the players, the managers, some of the staff, we're going to be highlighting as well, doing the same thing that we do for these high schools, and I think it'll help the high schools too. I think they're going to feel a little bit like, hey, they're doing this for the Scrappers. They're also doing this for us. So it's kind of a cool sentiment, and we're just overjoyed that the Scrappers have woven themselves into the fabric of the YSN family. So I'm going to lean on the guy who's been here the longest because he's seen the most out of the other two of you guys. And when you heard it, when we talked about it, what were some of the I guess feelings that you had going through your pumping through your veins?
It's another step in the ladder that YSN can have on its resume. I mean, I think it tells you how important it is to make connections and do things the right way when you make them. I mean, we had Jordan on Running Point several times during the summer when so much uncertainty of minor league baseball was going around, and I'm sure a lot of people kind of put the Scrappers dead in the ground at that point, and YSN had him on the show a couple of times and gave him the limelight and did things the right way, and it's good to see that kind of transpires to having the conversations with him as the Scrappers gear up for a kind of new identity. And now we're sitting here as the trusted partners of the Scrappers in the next 2 years. That comes with trust. I mean, that means that they trust YSN to kind of take care of them from a media perspective, and I don't think that happens if us on our end doesn't do a great job of building the connections, building the relationships, and continuing to try to do things the right way.
No, I'm with you on that. We'll go over to Matt. How do you feel? I mean, you sent me a personal text message, which always makes me feel special, about let's go. This is LFG is our motto, sideline motto. But from you as a guy that on this panel, the last one to kind of join YSN, how's this make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, just huge news, first of all. I think right away when I saw it, and I'm always thinking about things from the high school's perspective. If you're a high school out there that's not involved with YSN right now, why? I mean, to see the growth of the company, to see that, places like the Scrappers and YSU and all the other places that are getting on board, it's just such a tremendous opportunity for exposure for your athletes. And, the partnership with the Scrappers is just going to be, unbelievable for the coming couple of years and hopefully long into the future after that.
Love it. How about you, Ty? I know you're excited. You're a baseball guy through and through.
The Scrappers too, in this area especially, it's a team where a lot of us first make our memories with sports and with baseball in general. I think a lot of us have those memories of being younger too, at least my generation, a little bit older than my generation, remembered going to those Scrappers games when we were young, through high school, middle school, and even younger than that, going to the Scrappers game with our parents. You always have a great seat at the Scrappers game, and then seeing these names eventually that went on to Major League Baseball. And I mean, now I know that the structures, they're going to have players from all over the place. They're going to be playing with Mahoning Valley, and it's exciting, and it's unbelievable that we're going to be working under the same banner of YSN. I think that's really incredible.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I mean, there's so much we're going to do together. It's going to be a fun spring and summer, but obviously we got to get through the basketball first, which leads us right into tonight's games. 3 games, correct? That none of them on YSN. But we have Springfield, we have JFK, and Mooney all in action tonight. Anthony, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And Springfield and Mooney will both be on Twinsburg's YouTube page. And I haven't seen what JFK's platform is going to be at, but I'm sure we'll have a link to wherever you can watch that game on YSN when we find it.
Yeah, so what we'll do is in the live games category, typically what you'll see is our live games, the $9.99, so on and so forth. What we'll do is I'll get with Brian and I'll send him a message, and we'll put the YouTube links on for those games, so that way people can watch. Obviously, we're not broadcasting them, but we still want to be able to bring YS Nation their games if they so choose to watch them. I will be watching. I'm very interested. We want to finish out with these teams. Tonight, Norwayne versus Springfield. And Springfield has been a surprise for so many this year from basketball standpoint, and it feels like they're just now getting their legs back under them after that Sebring loss a couple weeks ago. So do you think Springfield, and this is a very familiar foe in Norwayne from an athletic standpoint, because these two teams always line up seemingly against each other in football as well. So you think Norwayne's got some tricks up their sleeve for the Tigers tonight? Anthony, we'll start with you.
I think that Sebring loss was probably the best thing that could have happened for Springfield, because it was kind of a smelling salt wake-up call to the Tigers a little bit. And you saw that in their first couple of tournament games, how ready they were, how focused they were. And the whole game, they were absolutely locked into what they were doing. They didn't let up. And that can be a great thing in tournament time, because if you keep beating teams up in the regular season and then come tournament time, a couple teams sneak up on you, you relax a little bit. So I think that loss actually was a really good thing for Springfield, and I think we're seeing the fruits of that as they go through the district. They win the district, and I think they have a really good chance in this region to win 1 or 2 games and make Springfield Nation really proud of their basketball team.
Man, I'll tell you what, Springfield knows how to make noise, don't they? They don't mess around when it comes to making noise. Imagine if these gyms were allowed to be filled. How many Tiger fans would be in the stands? Be incredible. All right, so let's go over to Matt. When you look at this, you literally front row seat to see that Sebring game, and not to pin everything on one game, but I like Anthony's point of that was the smelling salts game for the Tigers. What was their reaction after the game? Everybody was worried about the reaction of Sebring. What was their reaction after that game? And do you believe that this stands as a pedestal game for them to get back on their championship triumphs?
Yeah, I thought that was a great point from Anthony. Obviously with a front row seat to that, I got to see the reactions. And, Coach Branch is just such a tremendous coach, and he's somebody I think is a little bit overlooked locally here. But I'm just amazed by, his ability to lead his teams every year. Right away, their players, it was almost like a shock disbelief. And you could almost see the light bulb come on that, hey, we got to bring it every single night. So, right away I thought, that it could be a motivator and send Springfield on this kind of a run. Not to mention the fact that, they're an extremely talented basketball program.
No, they are. And it just, at some point, do we just award them being some of the best student athletes in the area? That's together from a team standpoint, because I feel like they'll get it done in baseball too, and then track, and then you got Sean Guerrero, who's the new track coach. So you got to imagine he's going to be pushing for some 4.5s and 4.6 times. You know what I mean? Things like that. At some point, and I know it's going to be tough for you, Coach. Obviously, them in your conference, but at some point you just go, wow, they have some of the best student athletes all together that we've seen in a while.
Yeah, it's really easy to sit back and kind of admire what they've done with their programs. And I mentioned it yesterday, but I think that they've got probably one of the best athletic cultures as a district of any of the districts that are out there.
And what's funny is, I guess it's not funny, it's ironic that they are homegrown. They talk about it. They're homegrown. They don't do open enrollment. They want their own kids. They want to keep their own kids and maintain that. It's a very special situation out there in Springfield, and obviously a very special game tonight. They take on Norwayne, and we wish our Tigers the best of luck here tonight. And it seems like, they've got R.J. Smith, who is the big dog of the year, but it seems like every game a different Tiger steps up, because you can't just rule out one guy and let the other four beat you, because they will. Ty, you've seen the Tigers this year, have you not?
Yeah, I have. So, with the Tigers, and I kind of alluded to it yesterday too. It's a team of 5 legitimate all-stars. One guy's not going to put it up in the box score. Not one guy's really going to, put up the 30, 40-point games that you might see from some of the bigger names from the area. But they have 5 guys that could legitimately score double digits on you and do it very consistently with very good passing, very good team basketball. They move the ball very well. They move off ball very well. They establish off-ball screens, create so many passing lanes, so many driving lanes. It's one cohesive unit. It's 5 gears turning at once, and with that gear, it's a beautiful machine on offense and defense, because it's a very good team basketball. And what Coach Seidel said is great with French is doing over there. He's established a great culture and great team basketball, and it's built on the foundation of defense and defense creating offense.
All right, so now we got to turn our attention over to Lucas versus JFK. JFK has been a team that's been under the radar all year, with the stoppages, with 2 quarantines that JFK had to go through, a third one with Coach Comlank, and then still through all of this, they continue to just put down teams left and right. McDonald was the powerhouse that we were talking about, and JFK beat them by 20, I believe, somewhere in that neighborhood. So then automatically you go, well, wait a minute, what is JFK up to? They just continue to churn it out year after year, sport after sport, and this is a very, very, and we talk about it all the time, of classes of students and student athletes that come up together. This was a class of students in the senior, the junior, and the sophomore ranks that are very, very well disciplined, and they're hungry, and that's a dangerous combination. So, and when you look at the Lucas versus JFK matchup tonight, you got to be obviously speaking about Hollabaugh, but there's a load of other Eagles that can soar past you at any given moment.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for JFK is they're abundantly confident. They showed that when the brackets came out, and they decided, instead of going into their own bracket where they would be the top seed, they went into McDonald's bracket. They wanted to prove a point that maybe they were the best team in the area. And boy, did they prove that point in that district final. So they have to be living on this cloud of confidence in JFK right now that can really take you places and get them off on fast starts and maybe stun teams before they even know what hit them, maybe have a big halftime lead. And they also are really good at kind of mid-game adjustments. McDonald came back in that second quarter, tied the game at 31. JFK took a timeout. They changed a couple of things up. They ended the half on an 8-0 run, and they never really looked back. So they are really good at making adjustments mid-game and being able to kind of make things up on the fly. And I think that's another thing that's going to really bode well for them in this tournament.
Ty, when you look at this, what do you like about JFK? Is it just their swagger? Is it their nonsense approach to going at teams? Or is it the fact that everybody just overlooks them all the time?
I think it's a combination of that, and I think it's a combination of what we've seen too with Springfield and just having great student athletes too. Look at JFK making it to the state championship in football too, just on the backs of great athletes. And it seems like JFK is another one of those schools that just has a lot of great talented athletes. Personally, I had not had the chance to see JFK play this year, but I have seen that McDonald team play, and I've said that McDonald team was outrageously good. And for JFK to take it to that McDonald team, beat them by over 20 on a great night from JFK, that shows the kind of talent that JFK is working with right now. And if they can keep bringing that same energy that they brought against McDonald, they could come away with a victory over Lucas tonight.
Coach, you talk about it all the time from a football standpoint. JFK is the area's kind of golden goose of D7. it's a team that you look at and you want to build your program to be like. From a basketball standpoint, doesn't seem like it's a whole lot different. Do you feel like coaches in the area can learn something from what Coach Comlank and his crew are doing at Warren JFK?
Yeah, I think they can, but more importantly, I think that student athletes can learn from this. I would like to see more student athletes that play all of the sports, kind of like what we're seeing from JFK and from Springfield. And, the more we're getting familiar over these last couple of years with this Lucas team, they're kind of the same boat. You see some of those same names over and over again from football season and basketball season, and then they roll into baseball or track or whatever it is. I'm just impressed with the way that all of these schools are able to get all of their kids to participate in literally everything that they have. And, I think that that's a big key for that JFK team is, some of that cohesiveness that you build from being teammates in a lot of different sports.
No, I'm with you. The days of people just trying to specialize, I think are I don't want to say they're behind us because they're not, because you're always going to see kids that want to specialize in certain sports and parents. But I think parents are starting to turn the other leaf on just specializing, because they're seeing all these 3-sport athletes going to college and playing D1, D2, D3, JUCO, whatever. And, you look in the pros, and most of these athletes, most of these guys, these superstars played more than one sport. So I think you hit the nail dead on the nose there, Coach, in saying that more kids and more parents should look at teams like this and realize that you should be multi-sport athletes. There's no reason at this point, especially in smaller schools, to specialize, because it's not helping you at all.
No, and I think that, the more that we hear these college coaches talk about, that one of the things that they look for in their athletes when they're recruiting them is they're looking for kids that are multi-sport athletes. That's a big thing for us at the high school level, because our kids hear that. They look up to some of those college coaches. Like, I know recently Urban Meyer said it, Dabo Sweeney said it. You look at that Clemson team, and I think 3/4 of the team ran track in high school. Just incredible athletes.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. One more game to talk about before we take a break. It's Lutheran East and Cardinal Mooney, and a young man who has a lot of experience with Cardinal Mooney and some good calls, and the reason Cardinal Mooney is playing this game, Mr. Ty Bartell. Ty, what are your expectations tonight for the Cardinals?
If the Cardinals can keep playing their brand of basketball, they can come away with the victory. It's not going to be easy. I mean, we're playing one of those teams on the lake that we always seem to have trouble with in northeastern Ohio, down here basketball-wise. But Mooney, being the culture of winning that it's been with not only football but other sports as well. I mean, Mooney is the mecca of Youngstown, I guess, is the best way to put it as far as championships are concerned. It's the team, the school you go to for championships, especially in football. But I mean, basketball has always been one where, we haven't talked about them that much in recent years. And they're coming out, big win over Waterloo with that walk-off win. You got to feel like that's going to give them a jolt of momentum. They're pumped up. They're energized going into this game. Hopefully that energy results into points and a victory over one of Cleveland's better teams.
Now, obviously, Ty, before I let you go off this one, they're going to keep their focus, Lutheran East that is, on MP45. Michael Pellini, where's the number 45? Does Pellini, is he going to be able to distribute to the other 4, or is he going to be kind of locked down, or do you expect him to fight through and still find his own shots?
That's what he was doing against Waterloo, man. He's a type of player where he has this nice little fadeaway shot, and it works from perimeter, it works from inside, and he's got the size to do it. I mean, you look at him too. Incredible speed. He can act as a point guard. He ball handles sometimes, but he's a bigger kid, like linebacker type build. And I mean, this bigger type of guy that's able to do the things a point guard does. So he's able to back you down. A point guard can't guard him. So you got to bring someone bigger on him immediately. And he could still back them down, and then he could come off with a little fadeaway. If that fader's hitting, that's consistent points coming from him. But Mooney's also built with other guys like Hergenrother and, like I said, Thomas Fire, other players that can really get it done. Hergenrother's a very good ball handler. He has a he has a mentality of turning it up when he really needs to, and puts buckets up for Mooney in crunch times. And so does Thomas Fire with that defensive energy. It's if this team works as the well-oiled machine that they have this season, and Pelini's doing Pelini things, this team's got a good chance at winning tonight.
I love their coach. Coach Palermo is a gritty coach, believes in his kids, and that sounds like somebody else that we know. Coach Seidel, how much in a game like this, how much does the coaching aspect of it, what do you say to your kids, that hasn't already been said at this point this season?
Yeah, it definitely matters. And I think that, we got to bring up James's point down there. Lutheran East has that 6'9" center that's heading to Georgetown. And I actually had a chance to see him play a little bit this year. He's just tremendous. I kind of keep tabs on all the schools that beat our Sebring program back in the glory days, and Lutheran East was one of those programs that they kept us from a state Final Four in 2003, the year before we made it there in 2004. Just a tremendous showdown with them, and they always seem to have just unbelievable athletes. But from a coaching perspective, I think you settle your guys in. You tell them, hey, we're going to do the things that got us here, and go out and make them play your game. Don't play their game.
Do you think it's like almost like a football game? Some kids need to be hit before they kind of get those juices flowing. Do you think that somebody like a Michael Pelini is going to have to kind of get bumped before he finally fits into it?
Yeah, Pelini's he's a classic weight room kid. You can tell he hasn't missed very many days there. And so I think that guys like that, they kind of thrive on that, getting those competitive juices flowing.
6'9" center is going to be tough to maneuver around, especially if he's posted up down in the paint. Anthony, you've seen a lot of these games where nobody gives a team like Mooney a chance. What does Mooney have to do inside their own locker room, inside their bus, wherever they're taking them? What do they have to do to get people to believe in the Cardinal way?
I think one important thing is not make this game bigger than it has to be. I mean, it's easy to hype up a regional game. It's easy to get yourself a little bit too fired up. We saw it a lot in the girls' tournament from teams outside the area and teams all over the state that would make the game a little bit bigger than it had to be. And then when things go a little bit wrong, they get a little bit too tight, and things can really steamroll really quick. So I think just go, business as usual. Try to keep it as normal as possible. Try not to overhype the fact that you're playing Lutheran East and the big name that they are, the program they are, and that 6'9" center that's going to Georgetown. If you overhype it, you're going to get your players a little bit too tight, and they'll be playing a little bit not to make mistakes instead of playing to win. So I think you play to win, you play your game, and I think that'll give the Mooney attitude what they need to win. I mean, Michael Pelini, Ty said it, he can score from anywhere, so he can be a guy that can bring that 6'9" guy out a little bit to try to guard that perimeter shot, and then it'll open up the driving lanes for Hergenrother and Fire. So I think Mooney's got a legitimate chance to, especially in the offensive side, to score some points against Lutheran East.
5 scorers will always beat 1, right? I mean, I guess that's what you got to take into consideration in a game like tonight. So hopefully we wish all of our teams luck, JFK, Mooney, as well as Springfield, as they take on their next opponents and respective ones to the 10th degree as well. We're going to take a break. When we come back, a lot to talk about, like, I don't know, if you were going to play in a sport and you had to pick any one, what's the one that you can make the biggest impact in and then be able to be drafted or play at the next level? We'll talk about that. Also, Anthony's got a new blog coming out. We're going to talk about that as well. And, of course, we'll have our G. Burbick Farms. What's your beef? What's your filet? With these great gentlemen here on the Ysn Power Hour. Take a break. Be back right after this on the PH. See ya.
DEL Lift Rentals and Sales is locally owned and operated with over 30 years experience. We specialize in lifts of all types and sizes, including forklifts, scissor lifts, and boom lifts. We offer low rates and long-term rentals, as well as fast on-time delivery, often free in the local area. We also sell a variety of used equipment. Visit us at WeRentLifts.com or at 7891 Southern Boulevard in Boardman, or by phone at 330-549-0855.
DEL is your local lift expert.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Right now is a great time to get more for your trade-in at Tri-State Ford and drive home in a new or pre-owned vehicle. Choose from our great selection of new Ford models or pre-owned vehicles. Plus, get the Tri-State Ford Advantage, including a 10-year, 200,000-mile warranty and more. At Tri-State Ford, we'll pay you top dollar for your trade, but you don't have to purchase one of ours to sell us yours.
Customer focus, community driven. Tri-State Ford East Liverpool or visit tristateford.net.
And welcome back to the Ysn Power Hour. DJ with you, as well as Ty and Anthony, and of course Matt joining us as well. He's turned into a real regular on this show, which I dig. He's like, well, apparently I don't suck, so I guess I can come back. No, man, you are officially part of the core guys here on the Ysn Power Hour. Anthony, of course, you can see Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Thursday, yep.
On Running Point with Ron Potesta. We got to get that changed up. It's got to be with Anthony and Ron, or Ron and Anthony, or something like that. So we got to get you embedded into the show as well. And then, of course, Ty, well, he's big game Bart. He just is one of the best announcers we have here on the network. And if you've never listened to one of Ty's calls, then you probably haven't seen very good games or the best games that are to be called here on the network. So grateful to have all you guys with us. And obviously, it's a time where we can share our opinions of what is going to be and what could be with our local teams, as well as situations like this where it's a slow news day outside of the Scrappers news and until about 7 o'clock tonight. So we were talking a little bit before, what is the one sport that if you could pick, no matter your ability, no matter you just got to, you knew you were going to be good at it, what's the one sport you would pick that you could make the biggest impact on a draft status or to play at a professional level? Anybody?
So,
Bueller?
I think this, if I understand the question right, this is like, which sport can a person kind of come out of nowhere, make a quick statement, and up their draft stock the easiest?
Yeah. See, I should have let you tease it.
And I think it's basketball. I think that's the one sport where you can kind of come out of, you see more people come out of nowhere and really all of a sudden become household names because they have a good tournament or they have a good couple weeks in basketball, especially in the college ranks. I mean, Steph Curry was not a household name. What he did in the tournament with Davidson. So you see a lot of guys like that kind of play for maybe a mid-major, have a really good March Madness, become household names, and then obviously go on to have professional careers because of what they did in those tournaments and how many eyes they opened in those couple weeks of really good basketball.
So you're saying college basketball. You're not saying okay. So college basketball. Ty, how about you? What's the sport that you would choose?
For me, I mean, if you're from Ohio, if you could be good, really good at one sport and you want to get noticed, it's football, especially Northeast Ohio. If you're going to be good at one sport and you're talented enough they're going to find you, because football is so huge. So many people, there's so many colleges constantly scouting from other states, especially, but also in this state at high schools. If you're really good, they'll find you with football in Ohio. So if you want to have a shot to make it big time, I would say, yeah, be really good at football if you're from Ohio.
All right, Matt?
Yeah, I think everybody kind of expects me to go with the football answer here, but I'm actually going to change it a little bit. And I think it's actually baseball or softball where you can have the biggest impact immediately. And, we were kind of talking about it before the show, but I think if you can come out and you can hit, anywhere close to 300 in high school, you can make a tremendous impact on a team right away. And, I've seen it in the past with some of our programs. If you've got one or two great pitchers, you can really make a run.
See, this is the interesting part, because I was going to actually ask you, Matt, if there's one sport that I'm really concerned about that they put way too much stock into stuff that's non-sport related. It's football. It's the NFL Combine, because players, their draft stock goes up or down with what they do basically exercising. Like, if somebody was scouting us at Planet Fitness, they would not like us as announcers. It's just not how it's going to go. So why is it that football prides itself on the NFL Combine and the draft combine when it really isn't indicative of what they do on the field?
Yeah, I think that, they've tried to overanalyze a little bit, and they've gotten to a point now where, there's some metrics that they're using that, guys are even looking at and going, well, okay, yeah, it's a nice number to be able to have to kind of put pieces together and try and figure out who this guy is. But, it's not indicative of, who he's going to be on the field. I look at the bench press test, for anybody other than an offensive or a defensive lineman, who cares what a wide receiver bench press is 225 for? It's not that big of a deal for his position group. But, there's definitely other things, I think of like, running the gauntlet for the wide receivers. That drill's tremendous to me, because you're figuring out, can this guy locate the ball quickly? Can this guy, get his hands on it? What's his catch radius like? So for different position groups, there's different drills that really, really matter. But I think that, they've tried to kind of drill down and make it a one-size-fits-all approach. It's funny to watch some of these big offensive linemen try and run the 40-yard dash. But at the end of the day, other than maybe getting out on a screen pass or something, it's not that big of a deal if that offensive lineman runs a sub 540.
No, and that's crazy to think about, those big beasts running sub 5 in the first place. And, what's your take on it? There's no NFL, or I guess there's no combine for, baseball or for college basketball per se. It's just NFL. If there was a combine for, you said what? You said basketball. If there was a combine for college basketball, what would it look like? What would you want to see?
It'd probably be the sprint speeds, the vertical jump, measuring how fast and how high a guy can jump in the air. Maybe change the direction drills through the cones to see how fast he can pivot his feet. I'm sure there would be dribbling drills and stuff like that, the fundamental drills of basketball, strength for boxing out and stuff like that. But it's funny because there's still a lot of physical things that you could look at for basketball, but they don't. And you bring up a good point that they put so much weight on it in football, but those speed things and those strength things could be just important to evaluating a basketball player, but you don't see it in basketball. So it is kind of ironic that football is the only sport that takes so much weight with it.
Baseball has pop times. They have, the showcases where you got to run the 60 and do stuff like that, and your bat speed and things that PBR does it very, very well. But that's the only other sport that I think is kind of associated with the combine. Ty, do you like the idea that, these so I guess gurus put so much weight into to exercising? Like, I would never say, how much do you bench press, because I want to see how good of an announcer you are.
Yeah, the combine started, I believe, in 1982, and
Of course it did.
but it started in 1982, I think, and it was probably because based off of the drills and everything at the time, they probably put real weight into it at that time. Thought that these stats mattered, and it did translate into being a good football player. Of course, times have changed. We have better science behind that now, but I think as it transitioned into that, it just became more of like a media outlet, just a talking point from people to say, you know, oh, this guy's 40 time was better than this guy's 40 time, just creating a talking point. And I think just creating content, I think that's all it's used for at that point. Just to fill that gap in between football season for like NFL analysis and stuff.
That is a terrible idea. Never do things just for content.
I think it'd be weird to see what the announcer combine would look like. How many words you can say per minute, how fast you can set up the equipment. Things like that. The announcer combine.
You just put an idea into his head.
I mean, we need content. We're going to be without basketball until baseball and softball. So, Anthony, congratulations! You just got another assignment. But all kidding aside, Ant, you do have another assignment coming up. It'll be the second year for your blog. It's what, the Hot Corner, right?
Hot Corner, yeah.
So talk about your blog for people who haven't read it before and what it kind of entails.
Well, the idea for it came right when spring sports were kind of shut down last season, but not officially shut down for the whole season. And we were just toppling our brains, like, what can we do for content to make up for this lack of content we have in this couple of weeks? We were hoping for a couple of weeks, and I was just like, let's do a softball blog because I have so much softball knowledge and I've been in the sport for a while. And I thought it would really make up for the lack of content that we had coming out for softball with there being no games. And unfortunately, high school season got canceled, and then we had to kind of shift to the travel season. And I used the summer travel season to kind of sharpen it every week. And I did every week. We did a recap of the travel scene. A lot of YSN players played on different travel teams around the state of Ohio. So we recapped that, and it really gained some traction. It got interest from teams around the state of Ohio that wanted to be featured in the blog. So I think at the end of it, we had about 7 teams that were sending in stats and sending in reviews of their week that we were kind of recapping, and they were mostly regional, local and regional teams that we were doing. We highlighted a player, and that's what we're going to do now for the high school season. We're going to recap the week in high school softball. We're going to dive a little bit deeper than your normal stories on YSN. We're going to go into the analyst of what kind of break down what the matchups were, what they mean for the standings. We're going to highlight a player every week and say how well they performed. We're going to keep updated on the YSN alums. This is what I'm really excited about because I think it taps into the loyal brand of YSN because kids graduate and the local media just kind of forgets about them. And we're going to keep updated on what they're doing in college and how proud we are of their hard work at the next level if they graduated from YSN schools. And then, as always, we'll have a special guest interview every week with someone, availability pending, from the elite world of softball, and try to get some more softball eyes on YSN. And the more eyes you get, you never know who's going to be looking at our webpage and liking what we're doing. So we'll have a mix of the national softball coverage along with a lot of local coverage that goes a lot deeper than just stories and interviews.
Anthony, you're killing it, man. I loved your blog last year. I was so excited when you sent over kind of the outline for it this year, and you always do your due diligence, and you are the king of girls and women's sports. So we love having you aboard and love that you're the director of content, man. You control how this thing goes, and obviously we are the content kings of the world right now. Here in the valley. So congratulations and well done again on all you do on the backside that nobody really sees other than the janitor, which is me. So congratulations and keep up the good work. Ty, Coach, I mean, we're looking for content right now, so we can do just about anything. Ty, I know you've been working on a weekend show for the network. Are you still looking to get that launched here in the next couple weeks or so?
Yeah, we're looking to. My goal right now is to have this launched by at the latest, the absolute latest is June, and the weekend show we're kind of discussing the ways that it's laid out. We already we have a song. We're having an idea laid out. We're going to have to get sponsors for it. But yeah, it's going to be surrounded on interviewing, greats of the Valley. And we're looking at some big names that came from the Valley that have gone on, or, anybody big involved in sports, whether that be an alumni coach, like, coaches from Mooney's past, and guys that are just legitimate around the area and doing like an in-depth, more personal interview than just the standard sports questions to try get to know these guys a little bit better.
You want to unveil the name here on the Power Hour?
So it looks like what we're going to keep it with, and it was a nods to, I believe, what Sarah, I believe you said, came up with this. It was we're looking at calling it Time Warp. So looking at going back at bringing the past to the present and looking back at some of the area's greats.
Love it. And then of Coach Seidel, you have to obviously maintain a football team somewhere along the way, but you have joined the YSN team. We're looking forward to bringing you into some of the stuff we're going to do. We will have a morning show that is currently in the works. We also are going to have the gas station reviews, so I'm sure we could probably get you in on that. Maybe some of Jeff's favorite Circle K burritos, which I would not recommend. But we're just so excited to have you along for the ride, Coach, and looking for all the great things that you're going to bring with you. So Amo says, let's go. So I guess he's ready to do some gas station reviews.
No, I'm excited about the content that both of these guys are, putting out right now. Anthony with the blog, I'm looking forward to reading every edition of it and keeping up to date with, some of the area sports and some of the softball players from the area. I don't think they get the recognition that they deserve sometimes. And, I'm really excited to kind of get a little bit more involved and hear a little bit more about, some of these softball programs, especially from the Valley, that are just year in, year out perennial powerhouses. And then with Ty, I think hearing some of those stories from some of those old legends is going to be just fantastic. I'm a guy that's been digging into our school's history quite a bit and really digging deep, going down and looking at microfilms and things. And to see some of these names that are popping up and go, oh, man, I forgot that guy played there. And, I forgot that guy from the Tri-County League played at Notre Dame, and that guy from Sebring played on a Rose Bowl team. There's going to be really cool stuff coming out.
Amo says, I got a Circle K and marathon within walking distance from my house in Sebring, so I'm game. That's the kind of stuff we want. You're allowed to create content for YSN. It is your sports network. You join the team, join the revolution, because we are taking over the world one brick at a time. That's going to do it for the main part of our show. As always, we end our show with our great sponsor, G. Burbick Farms. What's your beef? What's your filet? And starting us off, Coach, kick us off. Beef or filet, and what do you got?
Yeah, I got to go with the filet today. And, honestly, it's this tremendous weather that we're having. It's just absolutely beautiful out. And it starts to get a football guy like me excited about off-season workouts, getting outside a little bit. We've been cooped up in the weight room for a long time. Looking forward to getting out on the field and throwing the pigskin around a little bit. And, even just getting out to do some running drills and things.
Love that. Look at this. We got a Paige able to dial up. He got his PS5 today. LFG. Attaboy, Pager. Proud of you, buddy. He's put so much time in, and there's so many that have put it in time in getting in this next-gen system. Like, me? Meh.
Yeah.
I'll get it when I get it. You know what I mean? The 23-year-old of DJ Oakley would probably punch me in the face. But at 36, I'm sitting here going, I've got an Xbox 360 here. I'm going to bring the PS4 here. I've got the Xbox One at home. I'm good. Like, baseball is now on the Xbox One, so I'm good. Completely good. Now, if it wasn't, we would have an issue. I'd be hitting up Ty trying to get a new consoles. But it is.
We're the old guys now, DJ. We're the ancient guys on the show.
It's crazy to think that.
We got to get Munson back so we're not that old anymore.
Yeah, I know. Munson automatically makes us the median, right? It makes us the average of the show. So we'll get Paulie back. He's doing his thing out there with the baseball team. Anthony, what's your filet? What's your beef?
I think the fillet is just like, hey, we're in this point of basketball season where so many players are kind of getting to live out their dreams of playing in the upper ends of the tournament. We got boys in the regionals, we got McDonald girls in the state. It's a great time to see these athletes that we've covered all year kind of reach what their season goals were and be able to compete at the high level of basketball. So I'm excited for this week, all the teams that are competing.
Technical difficulties.
Technical.
Ty, how about you?
Ty, let's go.
So my fillet is just going to be, it's kind of going off of what you said, Coach. It's the weather that we've been having. The weather makes me think of baseball season coming up. That's right around the corner. Gets me real excited for not only pro baseball, but high school baseball starting at the end of the month, which gets me real excited. It's just real good baseball weather. So that my fillet is definitely the weather that we've been having. I know it's going to dip it again before it goes all the way back up, but just enjoying this little hint of what's to come until summer.
It happened before, guys, before the show started with this stupid, like, my microphone is breaking. I don't know what's going on. I gotta fix it. I have a beef and I have also a fillet. So my beef, naturally my fillet is the Scrappers. That is a dream come true. I've over the last 72 hours, I feels like my birthday again. Andrew Fallett from Struthers is Facebooking me right now, so, and I can't turn that off. So if you hear that, I apologize. My beef is back when the Cavs were going to the NBA Finals for the first time with LeBron. They had the court, right? That beautiful court that it was light wood. So my friends and I actually made a beer pong table that, hang on. Andrew.
Hey, what's up?
I'm in the middle of a show. I'll call you back. He wasn't going to, like, in Facebook, you could just let it ring, right?
You're just going to let it go.
So, but could you hear that noise?
Yeah.
It was annoying me. So back to the story. So we had a beer pong table that looked exactly like the Cleveland Cavaliers court. We down to the specs. So over the time, there was a falling out between the friends that made this court, and the court went to a party, never came back, and I was heartbroken. Like, heartbroken. I love this thing. It was my piece de la resistance, right? It was the greatest thing. It was just painted wood is all it was. But it was what it served. So, in December, I actually ordered a mouse pad, which I had no idea where I was ordering it from, but they had the Cavs court, and today it shows up, and I am like psyched up. Look how big this thing is.
That thing's cool.
That is a poster, right? I love this. This made my heart warm. My wife just sat there and laughed at me. She's like, you held this for so long. Like, this little, like, I need something to kind of replace it. So now I have this mouse pad that will sit here at YSN HQ with the Quicken Loans court, our Quicken Loans arena, and the original court that were, I don't know, just kind of one of those things in your heart that just never goes away. So my sister worked for the Cavs. It was a very special time. So thank you to whatever Chinese place made this, because it only took 3 months to get here, but she's here and she's beautiful.
I've never seen a mouse pad so big.
It's huge.
But
I got a Chicago Bulls one for my house, so we're good. For all you people that think that I'm not a Jordan lover, I'll always be a Jordan lover. Don't you forget it. But that will conclude the YSN Power Hour for this Tuesday. Tomorrow, Scotty will be on the show. I think Super Dave will be joining as well. Quinn and Mac are out on assignment right now, so they're going to be generating a ton of content, Anthony, so I'm sure you're going to be high-fiving them the next time you see them. But we will have everything baseball and softball covered. They got their own thing going. Love the way this is going. By the way, if you haven't been on the site yet today, you need to go check out Eric Bailey's just unbelievable, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's a feature but there's no video like we usually do. Eric wrote this all, and it's a great article about Molly Howard. So go check out. It's called Molly's Game. I believe it's the second down on the list right now on ysnlive.com. You got to go check it out. It's a great tribute to Molly Howard and everything she's been through as she gets ready for tomorrow, right? That's tomorrow's Thursday. Sorry, Thursday. On McDonald going to the state semis. So on behalf of all of us here, Ty Bartell, Anthony Hartwig, and Matt Seidel, my name's DJ Yoakley saying so long, and we'll see you tomorrow 3 to 4 right here on the YSN Power Hour. So long. And now the button's broken. That's good too. This is super. It's been